This mathematics lesson served to introduce rounding of decimals to whole numbers and tenths. It was my first math lesson on place value with this class, so for me, it provided opportunities for summative assessment on whole number rounding and place value. I also used the learning outcomes from this lesson to inform my future teaching programs on decimal rounding. In this way, the lesson also served as a diagnostic assessment as I was assessing their prior learning from lessons with their regular class teacher. I began the lesson by introducing my technique for rounding whole numbers, using deciders and significant figures. I feel that the students benefited from this method as it helped them visualise which number might change and which number to focus on when deciding whether to round up or not. Once students were familiar with this new terminology, we worked through some examples as a class, using both whole numbers and small decimals to the hundredths place.
If this is 0.5. Somebody hasn't had a go, Nancy. Where does it sit on the number line? So my number's 0.73. Where does that sit? Closer to 1 or closer to 0? Louder voice. Closer to 1. Good. Number is 0.14. I'm going to get someone to tell me what my significant number is, what my decider is, and then round it to the nearest 10. Zach.
Significant number is 1.
Good.
And the decider number is 4.
Good.
And rounding down.
Good. So what will my number become?
0.1.
0.10. Good. Very good.
As this was the first lesson on decimal rounding, I was quite thorough with my introduction and allowed many students to attempt their own rounding with the class. Once the students were solving problems comfortably, I ran through a verbal class quiz with students answering rounding questions in their workbooks. The students then worked in pairs to order rounded decimals using a set of decimal dominoes. It was great to have the students working collaboratively on this task, as they were supporting each other while learning about a new concept. They worked out solutions together, but in doing so, reinforced their own learning by discussing any confusion and scaffolding the problem-solving process. Once I called out the answers for their peers to mark, I had students complete a short reflective writing task where they self-evaluated their understanding. Understandably, there was still some confusion over decimal rounding seen by the responses to the class quiz and reflective writing. The answers to the oral quiz were great, with only a few students making multiple mistakes. For an introductory session, I was very happy with the outcomes of the lesson, as we would be revisiting the concepts over the next 2 weeks.